Why would I? Yeah.
So you're 100.
Yeah. You make that is really good. I'm glad you dressed up for me. Well, I was at work.
No, that's no.
This thing, the screen takes a while to catch up. Usually you touch something at a time, but this one.
Well, I did it one day. Bob was having trouble. You got it stuck in?
Yeah.
I just went, like, was it mode? So you put it stuck in.
I was wondering if that was a mistake.
For some reason it seems to be on, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I've already been here. Good, yourself? Good. The upstairs I haven't used it. Golf shop. Then more than the other building. Right in the main building. Right off the park.
I'd like to call to order the July 17, 2012 meeting of Columbiana City Council. Please stand in the invocation of the
Lord, bless those who hold office in our government. Help them to do their work in the spirit of wisdom, kindness, and justice, and to use their authority to serve our citizens faithfully. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Ferguson.
Here.
Bishop.
Here.
King. Schlenker.
Here.
Challenger. Here. Lakeman. Skyholt.
Here.
Chamberlain.
Here.
Blaisdell.
Should have a copy of the June 19, 2012 and regular meeting minutes and the July 3rd, 2012 special meeting minutes. Are there any errors or omissions on these? If not, they'll stand as presented. More communication in the Columbiana Athletic Booster Club. Dear Keith, the Columbiana Athletic Booster Club would like the permission to hold a door-to-door membership drive on August 9th, 2012, beginning at approximately 6 p.m. Team groups of high school student athletes will be assigned sections of town to go door-to-door to sell Booster Club memberships. Students will be wearing some form of identification as CHS athletes. Coaches will be assisting us with the students, and Booster Club board members and other volunteers will be at the pavilion at Farston Park to help with the membership drive. Also, we would like to request August 11th, 2012 be designated as the Columbiana Athletic Booster Club Tag Day. Hours will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Middle school students will be positioned at different businesses throughout the community soliciting donations. They will also be wearing Clipper attire. Coaches, booster members, and volunteers will be assisting them. We will check with business ahead of this day to get permission to solicit their site. Any additional information, please contact. Thank you for consideration and support of Go Clips. Sincerely, Lisa Miner, Secretary of Columbiana Athletic Booster Club. And we'll have that under new business. On the reports of commissions and boards, you should have a copy of the Planning Commission meeting minutes of June 19, 2012. Any comments on these? Okay, under recognition of persons that appear on the agenda, we have William Krosky in regards to Tag Day for the Cub Scout Pack 16 to be held on July 17, 2012 in the city of Columbiana. Here, there you are. Come on up and let us know what you're planning to do.
I'm actually here for my name's Mike Clark. July 28th is when we're looking for a tag day, potentially for the Cub Scout Pack here in town. We've seen 3 businesses already to get their permission upon your approval. We do Circle K, Hogan's Bakery, and the post office. We would have probably about 15 to 20 boys participating, with at least 6 to 10 adults participating. Boys will appear in their Class A uniforms, and the money would be used for programming for the coming year.
You said July 28th.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay. We'll act on that under new business.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Ron Detweiler, Park Board President, in regards to the stadium.
I'm back. It's
Earlier in the year, I came to council and went over a few of the projects we're working on in the park this year. I'm doing follow-up on one of those projects at this time, and that would be the fence committee that we talked about earlier in the year. Most of you know the information around the fence committee. I had Virginia pass out some drawings to you. Early in the year when I came, I asked for a volunteer from council to be on this particular committee. We put together a 12 individual committee to study the feasibility of putting a new fence around the football field. I'm going to read to you the people that were on that committee simply because I think it's important to show how we're a little bit different here in what we do and how the school and the city and also the park have to work together. Keith Chamberlain was on the committee, Brian Blakeman as a council member, your public service director Jay Groner, park manager Terry Schaefer. As far as the school goes, Don Mook, the superintendent, was on that committee. 2 school board members in Mark Hudson and Randy Guy. Also park board, Virginia Spaffel, Larry Bachman, and I chaired the committee. We also had one in-large community member, and that was Rich Barrington. The main discussion was on the fence around the football field. We had a wide range of discussion from type of fence, permanent, temporary, materials to be used, brick, mortar, glue, stone. We even discussed the flight pattern of the great northern Canadian geese while we had our discussion as far as how they tied into the pond and all. The results are in front of you. These are the plans from the architect. Yes, in order to put a fence around the football field and do a new ticket booth, we have to have state plans. The larger plans are ready, and they're ready to go to the state for approval at this point in time. You may notice something additional on the picture that's in front of you. Since we started this project, we've had some alumni come forward and volunteer some money to replace the ticket booth that's on the south entrance. So that drawing is also part of this whole project. It's a non-money item as far as we're concerned. It's money that's been garnered from the alumni for building a ticket booth. The fence is what I want to draw your attention to. And after much discussion, this is what the committee came up with. The brick columns that you see in the pictures, they're the same brick columns that are on the square. Material that the beautification committee used. The only difference is going to be that it's going to be glued together. It's just instead of just sitting there. Nobody's playing on the square, which we feel like might be in the park. So although it's the same stone material, it's going to be glued together. The fence that you see is the actual fence that we want to use. In between each brick pillar, there's 3 8-foot sections of fence, like you see. You can't see 2 columns. The picture isn't large enough, but there's a brick column, and then there's 3 8-foot sections of fence and another brick column. We're on somewhat of a tight time schedule here, so the committee decided that we wanted to go ahead and just build the fence across the front, or do the front of the stadium at this point in time, and then put the old snow fence up for the remainder of this season, and then use this year as a fundraising effort to try to get the money together to complete the project. Originally, when we got the plans together, the intent was to put the stone pillars and the fence across the front of the ticket booth, and then just put a chain link fence around the rest of the football field. And then as we got talking a little bit more, it come down that maybe the stone and the fence would look good all the way around if we can garner the money to do that. It's a combination temporary permanent fence. There's going to be no gates here. There will be 5 different entrances to the stadium that people can get in and out at their will. It's never going to be locked except during an event, let's say. And at this point in time, unless it changes, there will be no gates there. So the straightaway and the track in front of the stadium, both of those ends are open. The 2 ticket areas are open. And there's an entrance where the players can go from the football field to the practice field also. It's our intent, payment. How do we pay for this? We've had some donations already. We have enough money set aside to go ahead and start the project and do what we want to do this year. The committee plans on selling sections of fence then, just like we did when we sold bricks and that for the press box and the weight facility, and the same type of idea. The Clipper Athletic Facility Committee has agreed to run the project. It's the same group that built the weight room, the Waldo Ward weight room, and the press box. Both of those structures, as you know, were built at no cost to the school or the city, and they were gifted to the city or the park. And we're hoping that we can do that same type of situation here. I will say, and I'm saying this just to be honest with you, times are different now than they used to be. Volunteers are harder to gather, money's harder to gather. How much we'll come up with, I have no idea. And so there always is that outside possibility, if the project runs short, that we may come back to the school or the council for some type of minor funding to help finish the project. That's not our intent, but that you've got to know right up front that may be a possibility. The plaques that are in the center of the walkway through the press box, we're going to be giving those out to the people that buy a section of fence, let's say. Our time frame's a little short, that's why we decided to do just the front portion. We're trying to be aware of the Arts Festival that's on August the 6th. Unfortunately, Columbiana has the premier initial kickoff game of the season, the Columbiana Crestview Games on the 23rd of August. And so anything we do has to be done by that point in time. So we're cognizant of both of those facts, and we're going to try to do as much as we can in between there. My point of coming to council tonight, twofold. One, to thank you. Columbiana is in a very unique position. Most facilities like ours, we don't have to go through what we do, but this is a joint effort between the park board, council, and the school. And it's mandatory that we work together and that we're able to pull these projects off as a unit instead of fighting against each other. I was very, very, very happy how the committee interacted. I have no doubts that we can pull this off, and it's our intent that the cost-wise, Councilman Blakeman made it perfectly clear where he stood on funding of any type. We're hoping that this will be a no-cost issue for the council and the school. What I need from council is approval to go ahead and submit the plans to the state, that you agree with what we've done and to proceed with the project at this point in time. Can I answer any questions?
What's the fence made of?
Pardon me?
What material makes up the fence?
It's a metal, a combination. It's called an ornamental fence. I've got the drawings here for you. Very durable. It's like a 20-year durability on it.
Would need painted it every other year?
No. I don't know if I believe them, but they say 20, but I'm sure it's going to have to be touched up in between, especially for a venue like football. And with ours, people are walking around that fence. As you know, there's kids playing football out there and people are inside, outside. So I would imagine ours is going to get used more than a fence that's just sitting there. Now behind, no. But that was one of the questions we asked them, and yes, it is paintable or repairable if need be.
Do you have any idea what a section's going to cost for donation?
One section of fence is costing us, and that's another issue. We put out a bid process for 5 different companies on cost for the fence. We did a similar bid process with the stonework, but again, that was somewhat a no-brainer because Town and Country did the stonework for the beautification project, and he really gave us a deal that he would do for us that bid pretty well, and they haven't been given out yet, but it's gone to him. And one section of fence, according to the best bid that we have, is going to cost $325. That's our cost installed. And we were planning on asking $500 for a section.
Is that 8 foot or is that?
No, that's the 3 8-foot sections. It's $325 for the 3 8-foot sections of fence. And then we figured that we would go 500, and that's going to compensate for some of the cost as far as the stone and that. How the athletic facility committee works is we do a lot of things on donations. We've already had the individual to do the cement work volunteer his time. We can get some of our suppliers to give us materials at cost. And a lot of that is volunteer hours. And so we've already sat down to figure out as far as excavating, pouring the footer, blocks underneath, the decorative blocks on top, and the fence in between, those are our 5. And we can get probably 50% of that cost. Now, we're handing plaques out, but that's how that committee works. As I said, they've been very successful in the past. And that press box did not cost the city or the school a dime, neither did the weight. We'd like to do this thing here. But that's the avenue that we're taking to try to keep costs down.
Anybody have any
So
questions?
does the 500 cover 3 sections and half of a post? Something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that, okay.
It was sort of a guesstimate at this point in time, and no bids have been given out yet. I mean, that's getting the cart before the horse here. I mean, we've got
Probably close.
probably, yeah. And I mean, it was a guesstimate, and we do the facility committee has a couple local contractors on that committee that help run those types of projects. And so when they sat down and looked at them, I was out there last week 2 nights with contractors trying to look at costs. So it's a guesstimate, but I would imagine they're pretty much right on. So what I'd like is really approval from council to move forward. We need to submit the plans to the state, and our architect's going to walk them through, so we've got the flexibility to go ahead. Also realize the front part will be done, but the old plastic wood snow fences won't back up around the back. As offensive as it is to a lot of people, it's going to be there for this year. And what we're going to do is when you go in, if you look at your drawing, and of course one of our ticket ladies is also a park board member, so we're going to have brochures done up and have an easel there with some drawings, and we're going to pass out brochures and pamphlets and sell this to try to keep the cost down for school. I don't know if she knows that yet, but she knows now.
I do now.
Yeah. So that's our time frame. We're being upfront with you. We're telling you exactly what we want to do. I appreciate Council Keith, Jay Brown, and Barry Schaefer being on the committee. I feel we got along very, very well, and we've taken a giant step in solving the big problem.
Is it all right, Ron? Said who's the architect? It's voluntary.
Yeah, her name's on the picture, so I guess it's out now.
Volunteer your time.
Pretty much so. We're giving her a plaque, and she has agreed to do all our legwork and planning and walk the plans through the state and do everything for us at no charge. And her family's even taken out a second plaque to be put up. So,
Do you know, does she have a layout?
she does. I mean, there's the huge plans that you have to take. I just didn't bring those tonight. I didn't want to do that. I just brought the drawings so you can see what they look like. I'll be honest with you, I'm somewhat flabbergasted that we have to pay all that money to go to the state to put a fence around a football field and put up a block building with a pair of light bulbs. But we did. So you'll know. Yeah, it's pretty good. Appreciate your approval.
It's on the agenda. I'll make a motion to approve plans presented by Mr. Bell and Virginia.
Motion second. Any comments?
I think they've done a lot of work.
Committee is a nice variety of people. I think they did a wonderful job, as you say. Any other comments? Ian?
Ferguson,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Schlenker,
Yes.
Callender,
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'll keep you updated,
I'm sure I'll get up
as
there.
with everybody else in town.
Next person who desired to speak was Larry Dietrich concerning the festival and state pride. I think that was it.
Yeah, just those two events. We have two big events coming up, and we're one personally invite each one of you to the state pride. I think each one of you got it in the mail. So one of you who is not here tonight has been an RSVP already, so I just need the rest of you. What we're doing this year, the State Fry is basically the unveiling of the Joy of Christmas Light Show. And even though it's 95 degrees outside, we're planning for Christmas. And we're going to unveil our new plans, what we're going to do for the Ice Castle, the Gingerbread House, and the new light displays. And believe me, it's going to be a big surprise. So come on out, take a look at everything that we're going to do in December. And by the way, the invitations are correct. We have a sirloin strip steak from Horse Packing Company, appetizers, a full hot potato bar out at the Links, free beer, free water, the works, and only for $8. So, for those of you not city council, you got your invitations, but you're more than welcome. But everyone else that's here, I have invitations. It's open to the public. You're not going to be here for $8 state price. So it's the 26th of July from 5:30 to 7:30 out at the Links Banquet Center. So I hope to see all of you out there. You get to see what we're going to do for the Joy of Christmas. The second event is August the 4th. Actually, the Festival of the Arts, just to keep you updated. For the first year, I think it did very, very well. Looks like we're going to have over 100 dealers between the antique dealers and the craft dealers. We've got the food vendors lined up. So everything's in place. It's looking very good. We got the entertainment lined up. Mark Frost is going to do the MC and the entertainment again. And this week, starting Thursday, you're going to be hearing radio ads advertising the festival at the park. There's going to be 69 ads running on WKBN and 98.9. So we're hoping for a big day. All we need now is the weather to cooperate for August the 4th. So, but put it on your calendar and get your spouse and come on out and join the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else desiring to speak to council this evening? Manager's report.
Okay, now the notification from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, an application for new permit for the El Paso Mexican Grill Columbiana LLC. And as we have in the past, whether or not we want to have a hearing, since we have no history on this establishment, it's new. The normal procedure has been to ask for a hearing and vote it down. But all right, Bob? What we've been doing? So if that's what you want to do.
I'll make a motion, we have a hearing on this request.
We have a second.
Second.
Any comments?
Just a question for the chief of police. What do you think, chief?
I have no reason to either support or oppose it. I don't know anything about the folks that are applying for the license. Generally, the pattern of restaurants of this type, Mexican restaurants tend to have the same basic format. and there are rarely any problems or issues with them. The only ones I've seen with problems are ones that have outdoor patios or some noise issues. It doesn't appear to be the case. Beyond that, I don't really have anything else for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Dean?
Bishop?
No.
Schlenninger?
No.
Callender?
No.
Ferguson?
No. Okay, so we also have a copy of the mayor's court report for June. Also gave you a copy of the EMS department report for June. Also gave you a copy of the police department report for June. Also gave you a copy of the engagement letter from Harrington, Hoppy, and Mitchell concerning the negotiation of oil and gas leases for the city. And if you concur with this, I will go ahead and contact them and move forward. So I guess I need to, if that's what council wants me to do.
I have a comment to make. Somehow, I don't know how we got here, but it looks like we're ahead of ourselves a little bit. I don't think this council has ever voted on the issue of building in city-owned property at all. It seems like we've got to go out and have an attorney do the lease without that approval. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I hope I'm not the only one.
I mean, somebody has to say something here, because I wasn't at the meeting when this was discussed, so I'm not real sure where we're at.
I think that,
There was discussion on contacting him and seeing what his price would be to do this. And I guess since you contacted Mr. Wanger, this would be like the next step if you wanted to negotiate and see what you could possibly get as far as cost per acre and royalties, if you want to proceed that direction.
well, I don't think you're going to get that answer until we hire him.
Right. And
I don't think anybody's going to negotiate with you
right.
unless you hire somebody to do it, and that's what this is about, right?
This isn't approving to do the drilling, it's just to see if we hired him, what we could get as far as our contract.
So what we're saying here is that
I kind of agree with Tom, though.
This attorney would come back and say, here's
He would
the
actually
proposal,
contact-
yes or no.
He would actually contact them and say, we
So the cost
want to
is
know
gonna-
what we could get.
the cost is going to be for us to get that information through this gentleman.
Like Bob said, I agree with him, the fact that we never did come to a conclusion, yes or no, as a group, that we wanted to drill or have that done in the city. So, and with not a full council tonight, I know we're not going to have another meeting for a month, but I think we should have full council so we can decide on what we want to do there. That's my personal feeling. How everyone else feels.
You're saying you do agree with me in that we need to first decide.
We should decide if that's what we're doing or not, yes.
And then spend the money.
Just a question, why have we waited so long to make that decision? What are the factors that prevented us from making that decision 2 months ago? I thought it was the fact that we wanted to see what the proposal was as to whether or not we wanted to do it. Bob's talking about whether he wants to do it as a, what the word is, whether you want to do it or not. This is,
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It seems to me that
well,
it's logical to assume that you should first decide what it is you're going to do before you go and do it.
And I understand that's great, but what factors have caused us to be 6 months into this question without it being answered?
No one ever put it on the agenda, and no one ever made a motion to go yes or no. Those are the facts.
And we've gotten bits and pieces of information as far as we want to know how much increase we had, and there was discussion whether cemetery, park, things like that would be included or not. I don't think that was ever decided either. I know we wanted to use the cemetery. There was never a firm decision on any of that, that I recall.
The thing I wanted to know, and perhaps Attorney Winger will tell us, to protect our water wells, could we put into our lease, you have to be such a distance from our land, things like that.
Well, he's not gonna tell you anything unless you hire him.
If we hire him, he would tell us those things though. Can
Well,
we,
this is a question of hiring to get some information,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I wouldn't have a problem with that if you want to hire them and get information as far as Lowell's question.
Whether or not I wanna do it, my vote is gonna depend on the type of information I get from this fellow.
As far as the cemetery, yeah, can we exclude the cemetery if you're leasing the area around it? Things like that, I want to know.
It all has to do with the wording of this agenda. It says engagement letter for representation by Harrington Hoppe Mitchell. Negotiation of an oil and gas lease for leases to city-owned land. That's what it says. I can't ignore that.
Did you, could you feel better if it was to garner information for us?
In line between garner.
Well, however you want to speak, however you want to phrase it.
I still don't understand why we can't do it in a logical, professional manner and decide first whether this council unanimously wants it or doesn't want it.
Because I don't know until I hear his information. I don't know if we can exclude areas, how far the wells are going to be away from our land. I don't know. I don't know if I'm for it until I find out information.
I guess you can ask him that.
But he's not gonna give you that answer without.
Without hiring him, he's not going to give you those answers.
Well, I certainly don't want to hire him to give us a lease for city-owned property.
Well, he's working by the hour, isn't it? Could we?
Well, here's the way I view this. I view it as a hiring an individual is going to go out and get some information to present to this council. At that point, we decide whether or not we want to do it or not.
That's fine with me.
That's the way I would understand.
If we word it the right way, that's fine with me, but let's get the wording.
Yeah.
Well,
What would the wording be then?
let's do that now.
Let's change the wording then.
I don't want to, I want to vote
Whether we're going to
on
do this
whether
or
or
not.
not we're going to do it or not do it.
I
I want to
vote
do
on
it
it
with
too.
information, not speculate.
But I want to get off a dead center and find out some information.
So specifically, what is it that we wanted to tell us? What kind of information do we need?
Can we protect our land or our wells with such a distance the drilling would happen?
Well-
Can we exclude the cemetery? Can we exclude whatever else we want to exclude?
Well, I pretty much guarantee you we can exclude the cemetery.
I think that's.
Well, what if they do all around, are they going to get that gas anyhow and pay royalty for it? You know what I mean?
If,
I hear you talking.
You know, I don't know.
if this gentleman goes under the assumption that he is negotiating a contract for the city, that would be good information to vote up or down. So, leaving this proposal the way it is isn't all bad, because we still have to vote up or down based on hopefully good information, not just speculation. We want to change a word here or there, but I want as much information as I can get as to what this contract would look like for the benefit of the city and for the benefit of the community, so that I can make a decision.
Believe me, there's a whole lot more information you need than the lease contract and whether we can or can't drill or do get a benefit of distance from our wells. There's a raft, I've got a folder of that too, on Marcellus Shale drawing. I had just pulled an article out of the paper that says insurer won't cover gas well fracking exposure. That's Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company. That kind of stuff scares me. I don't know about the rest of you, but insurance guys are not among the most stupid people in the world. Sorry.
No, that's fine, that's your opinion. So, what do you want to do then? Do you want to word it differently? It's up to council. Right now, it says negotiation on oil and gas lease for leases of city-owned land.
How about the word information in there? Proposal, some other word.
If you want to know what you want to know, Lowell just said it. He wants to know whether, I don't think that we need to know whether we can or cannot drill under the cemetery. But what you want to know is can we protect someone, our wells from being poisoned by getting a lease agreement that says you won't drill closer.
Because here's what I'm
There's a
thinking.
300-foot margin, right?
Here's what I'm thinking, Bob. Okay, here's our farm, say. The neighbor's right here, he's leased his. He could drill close to our land. I want to know if we lease our land, if they would agree that they would not go closer than that.
But see,
If it's the same company,
but what you're doing when you do that, I'm not trying to argue, but what you're saying is the only person who could agree to that would be the guy who's drilling on our neighbor's property.
Well, yeah.
That means we would have to have a lease with him. That shuts off
No.
competition in the whole business.
if we would lease to the same person that's leased the neighbor's land, they could agree to that.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, which most of the land around here is leased by the same company.
Chesapeake has it all.
Not most of it, not all of it. You can put into that thing you want to put for information on it. However you want to
Or a decision to go with a project or not based on that information. To be an added sentence. Because that's what we're after.
Well, we need a full council to do that, Tom. Don't you think?
I guess.
I wasn't at the meeting when you voted to go ahead and hire or have a proposal from Mitchell, so I guess, was it full council then? So,
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think it was.
so I wonder what the motion was then to do that.
The motion was definitely not to sign a lease.
Without an up or down vote.
It was a
Request for information, it stands for.
information to get what his cost would be.
Okay, now we have his costs. Shall we proceed and
What's
get
the next
information now? That's the question before us.
And I believe he did speak when he was in Mr. Wanger, that he discussed Lowell's question. He said he had seen it go as much as 1,500 foot in some negotiations. He did say that, I think, that night. But once again, like you said, they're not going to tell you anything unless you're going to negotiate a lease.
Mike, do you know what the minutes are? Let's grab that book. It's May 15th, we're looking for. You have May 15th PM?
I have all the minutes right here. You think it was May
It is May 15th.
On May 15th, all of the council members were present.
Does it say in there at the end what the,
Schlenniger moved to have Attorney Alan Wenger provide a fee proposal for investigation of the options for a gas and oil drilling lease. Callender seconded, and the vote was 4-2, but the vote did pass. Mr. Bichelle voted no, and Mr. Blakeman voted no.
so basically what we're saying there is we wanted to get the cost of what it's going to cost us to get information to make the decision. And that's where we are. Not to decide whether it's an up or down vote to do it, just to move this process along to see what it would cost us to get the information.
Can you read the motion again?
To have Attorney Alan Wenger provide a fee proposal for investigation of the options for a gas and oil drilling lease.
That's it. That's exactly where we are.
The first sentence of his letter is what she put on the agenda.
see if we can get a quote, no drill lease. Remember that term?
That's right.
Because it troubled me. I don't know why you would use for no drill.
To keep it as far away from us as we can.
But you're still going to drill.
Well, I think, Bob, since, I think what we're asking tonight is still in line in a normal progression to give the information to make an informed decision.
It's okay with me, but that's not what this says.
Well, but the records indicate, and I don't know how, Dan, we're going to help here. The motion seems to agree with everybody.
Okay, on the basis of what the previous motion, hire them to do exactly, use that language, that's what you're talking about.
Okay. And I call for the vote.
So you're talking about the language.
That's right, because that doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything about an up and down vote on whether or not we're going to drill or not drill, allow or not allow. It's a process of how much is it going to cost us? We got the information. Now let's hire the guy to get the information so that we can sit here and make the decisions.
Can you read that again?
Provide a fee proposal for investigation of the options for a gas and oil drilling lease.
Let's keep the investigation of options.
I would make the motion or amend this somehow, or whatever, we are voting on what's in that minute.
I agree.
There's no motion on the
No
table.
motion on the floor, so you're not amending it.
Okay, then I make a motion that we accept the attorney's proposal and move forward for gathering information for us to vote up or down on the drawing.
The information we're getting won't cost more than the
Motion we
2,000.
just said.
Second.
Okay, any comments?
It won't cost more than 2,000, they're saying, if you want the 2,000 to get the information. Am I
Well,
reading that right?
I suppose I don't know.
It
I
says might
suppose-
anticipate a fee range, 1,000 to 2,000.
Has anyone put in writing to these attorneys exactly what kind of information we're looking for? Because there's a whole lot of information that they could tell us, but I don't know that we don't know. Is that all you need to know?
No, I want to know everything he's going to tell us.
Well, we don't know what he's going to tell us.
Well, he's
We're
done,
gonna pay him for it.
he's done a lot of leases. I don't think he'll have to study it. He can,
He's already been in here, spent quite a bit of time, so he's already doing it.
I guess we have to rely on him to tell us what we don't know. That makes sense?
I suppose.
Except for a few details like no drilling or drilling back so many feet, and I think that's what Paul's objection is to, as far away as we can from our wells by negotiating a contract. Doing nothing makes us more vulnerable. Think that, did I say that right? Will?
that's right. That's exactly right.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Any other comments? Deanne?
Yes.
Bellinger, yes. Ferguson?
Bishop?
Yes, so long as the issue we're voting on is precisely what's in the May minutes.
I would appreciate maybe if some people just pass me notes along the way, just what they're kind of expecting, so we can give Alan some direction too.
Okay.
The only thing that I know of so far is what Lowell wants to know, and I agree with him, I want to know that too. If there's a way we can protect our well water from poisoning, I'm all in favor. But I'm not in favor of fracking on city-owned land.
Case, you also had in your packet the 2013 proposed tax budget. And, Mike put this together, and as you know, this is required by the it's required by the county state law that we present this to the county auditor every year. It's an estimate of where we're going to be in 2013. There's nothing in stone. It's our best guess. Estimate, am I correct, Mike?
Yeah. Looking into my crystal ball and seeing what we can figure out.
And if there's any questions or not, we do have a motion on new business. If not, I saw one of the items wasn't on here, but also I think you got a copy of the public service department report for that's all I have, Mayor.
And the bill list.
Did
Do you
you
have any questions on it,
have
too?
any comments or questions on the bill list?
Is there two bill lists?
That was a question I was going to raise. I believe there were two presented to us. There's only one noted on the agenda.
You've got two things, and maybe it's
You
the
have
same
2 dates.
One seems to be dated June 28th, and one dated July 12th.
Okay. If you can note both in your minutes.
Sure. Is June 28th the correct date? Because it's usually the meeting date on the bill list, but that was not a meeting date.
The June 19th.
June 19th? Well, we did have a meeting on June 19th. We didn't have a formal meeting on July 3rd, so is this the July 3rd bill list?
Well, no, we do, the bill list is dated either the Thursday or Friday before the council meeting.
Okay, so June 28th is the correct date.
Any questions for the manager? No business, bringing the new business. First time we need a motion to approve the tax budget, proposed tax budget for 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Ian?
Challenger? Yes.
Ferguson?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
Schwanneger?
Yes.
Next, we need a motion to approve the request from Columbiana Athletic Booster Club for permission to hold a door-to-door membership drive to be held on August 9th, 2012, beginning at 6 p.m. And permission to hold a Columbiana Athletic Booster Club Tag Day on August 11th, 2012, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Ian?
Ferguson?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
Schwanneger?
Yes.
Challenger?
Yes.
Next item, we need a motion to approve Tag Day for Cub Scouts Pack 16 to be held on July 28th, 2012 in the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Yeah?
Bishop?
Yes.
Schwanneger?
Yes.
Challenger?
Yes.
Ferguson?
Yes.
We have an ordinance. Due to the length of the ordinance, may I have a motion to read it by title only?
So moved.
Yeah?
Schwanneger?
Yes.
Challenger?
Yes.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Okay, since we only have 4 members here tonight, this will be a first reading. Ordinance number 12-0-2701. An ordinance amending Columbiana City Ordinance number 7-0-2411 for the purpose of broadening the services of Arcadis US and for the purpose of providing engineering services for the construction phase for the resident project representation of the water plant project. Any comments?
Yes.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Schoniker,
Yes.
Council comments?
I want to comment on the financial report. The self-funded healthcare line on that report. Says we've spent 72.3% on appropriation.
On the budget, right.
How are we going to recover from that for the rest of the year?
Well, we got hit in February with some rather large health insurance claims. We had a couple of individuals that it was substantial. The other thing it doesn't show, though, is this is the expenses. So we do get reimbursement from our stop loss insurance carrier. So they're not really showing up in this report because this is just the expenses.
Would that reimbursement put this number back someplace?
Yeah, I would have to.
It's still going to be 60.
Well, it could still be around that. I mean, I'd still have to look at where the reimbursements are. It could be at, later in the year with that money that we get in from the reimbursements from the stop loss. We may have to get an amended certificate to appropriate the additional money. But that's something I'm definitely keeping an eye on. And at this point, I'm just making sure, see how it goes.
What number do we use when we talk about the 10% employee share?
It's actually, there's 10% for management, there's 11.5%. You mean the employee contribution? The ASME union is at 11.5%. Police, I believe, police union is still at 10%. I'd have to really, I really haven't looked at that. I'd have to take a look.
I think the question, Bob, is where do we get that 10%?
My question is not where we get 10% from. I can do 10% of my rate. What is the base number that we use to apply the 10%?
The base number that we use is from the insurance company. They give us what we should be putting away for each employee.
The insurance administrator, not the company, right?
Administrator. They give us that figure.
We give that to you annually?
And then the policy runs from April 1st till March 31st. So we just signed a new one in April.
Okay, thanks.
Keep that Arcadis ordinance was set up as an emergency. We aren't going to have a meeting in August, so set the third week in August.
Right.
So
We need to have a special meeting again. It won't get done this year if we do it that way.
I would recommend if you want to have a special meeting, you should probably go ahead because we need to get this through. You have to delay this another month, not do it.
Mayor, could you set a special meeting?
or you could have a meeting, regular meeting on the first Tuesday in August.
Yeah, but it would still be classified as a special meeting.
Right, but we could hold it.
Do that.
On the normal day.
What is the date on the first one? August 7th.
Is everybody around?
It'll be able to make August 7 p.m.
But it just won't get done this year if we don't move on.
Can you contact maybe,
Yeah.
let them know in case of a problem. So I'd like to call a special meeting for August 7th at 7 p.m. And we'll be concerning this ordinance.
We have in the past, Mayor, had meetings like at 7 in the morning or something if people don't want to tie up an evening. You're working by 7? Okay.
Unless you want to do it around 5.
No, let's do it in the evening.
5 p.m. That's cool.
Let's go with the evening.
Evening instead of 7.
Sometimes it's tough getting up, too. I think that'll work perfect for everyone here, August 7th, 7 p.m. Any other council comments? Need a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
You say so.
Yeah.